Hello students, we are going to continue with chapter 2, Rights in the Indian Constitution of your class 11th political science textbook, Indian Constitution at Work. We have already studied about fundamental rights and its types. We have also learned about writs and the other bodies which help us to protect our rights. Today, we are going to study about directive principles of state policy and our fundamental duties, two very important components of our constitution. So what are directive principles of state policy? Directive principles of state policies are guidelines to the central and state governments of India to be kept in mind while framing laws and policies. These provisions are contained in Part 4 of the Constitution of India and are not enforceable by any code. But the principles laid down therein are considered fundamental in the governance of the country, making it the duty of the state to apply these principles in making laws to establish a just society in the country. जब फंडामेंटल राइट्स हुई थी तो फंडामेंटल राइट्स सिटीजन्स को मिली थी और वो सिटीजन्स को एक अच्छा लाइफ लीड करने के लिए जरूरी थी. So similarly, some guidelines, some rules were also given to the states, governments के पास, states के पास, which were responsible for a better lifestyle for the citizens. Okay? But जैसे कि हमारी fundamental rights अगर हमसे ले ली जाती हैं, तो we can move the court for that. We can go to the court. But the same thing does not apply for directive principles of state policy. For this, if the government is not following or is not able to do something which is mentioned in the directive principles of state policy, you cannot take the government to the court. Okay? So, but it is the moral obligation of the government to fulfill all those directives which have been given in this. And that is what the government does, so that it can establish a just society in the country. Okay? एक सभ्य society और एक लीगल सोसाइटी, एक शांत पीसफुल सोसाइटी बनाने के लिए DPOSP डायरेक्टिव प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ स्टेट पॉलिसी या फिर DPSP डायरेक्टिव प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ स्टेट पॉलिसी जरूरी है और गवर्नमेंट उनको फॉलो करती है. ठीक है, लेकिन उसको हम कोर्ट में नहीं ले जा सकते. दैट इज व्हाई दे आर नॉट एनफोर्सेबल बाय एनी कोर्ट. कोर्ट उनको डायरेक्टिव नहीं दे सकती, बट दीज डायरेक्टिव्स आर इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर द गवर्नमेंट. So what is the history behind it? The concept of directive principles of state policy was borrowed by Irish Constitution. ये हमने अपने first chapter में पढ़ा था that most of the things from in our constitution, many of the things in our constitution were borrowed from different constitutions. We had studied all the constitutions of the world और उनमें से जो अच्छी-अच्छी चीजें लगी थी उनको हमने वहां से borrow किया था and we had changed it and remodeled it according to our country. So directive principles of state policy was taken from the Irish Constitution. The principles have been inspired by the directive principles given in the Constitution of Ireland and also by principles of Gandhiism. So whatever Gandhiji had said, like peace, social justice, equality, etc., those also have been incorporated in the DPOSP. And so relate to social justice, economic welfare, foreign policy, legal and administrative matters. Characteristics of DPSP. Directive principles of state policy aim to create a social and economic conditions under which the citizens can lead a good life. यही मैंने आपको भी बताया that the condition of the country should be such कि लोग खुश रहें, happy रहें, अच्छी जिंदगी जिएं. Economic and social democracy मिले through a welfare state where people are free to do what they want to do and follow a profession that they want to do, earn their economic requirements as they want to earn under the rules and regulations made by the government. If laws are made to give effect to directive principles over fundamental rights, they shall not be invalid on the grounds that they take away the fundamental rights. Directive principles are non-justiciable rights of the people कि हम वो चीजें expect कर सकते हैं गवर्नमेंट से, लेकिन हम उसके लिए कोर्ट में नहीं जा सकते. That is non-justiciable. In case of a conflict between fundamental right and DPSP, if the DPSP aims at promoting larger interests of the society, the courts will have to uphold the case in favor of DPSP. अगर किसी चीज के लिए मना हो रहा है और वो फंडामेंटल राइट्स और डीपीएसपी के बीच में लड़ाई हो रही है, तो देखा जाएगा कि कौन सा गवर्नमेंट जनता के हित में है और जो चीज जनता के हित में होगी उसके हिसाब से जो कोर्ट है वो डिसीजन लेगी. So these are the characteristics of DPSP. Now let us study the various directive principles. The goals is welfare of the people, social, economic and political justice, raising the standard of living, equitable distribution of resources, promotion of international peace. ये goals हैं, welfare, justice, raising standard of living, equal distribution of resources and peace. Policies is to follow a uniform civil code that everybody should be treated equally, prohibition of consumption of alcoholic liquor, promotion of cottage industries should develop, prevention of slaughter of useful cattle, promotion of village panchayats. Non-justiciable rights, adequate livelihood, that the government promises that they will give adequate livelihood. But if the person is not able to manage, then it is, you cannot, that person cannot go to the court and say कि हमें नौकरी नहीं मिली या हमें खाना नहीं मिला. Government will try its best. अभी भी कर रही है. You can see during the lockdown how much the government is working, trying to provide security to the people. The police is 24/7 on work, trying to provide health services also to the people, and also trying to serve food to the people. Okay. Equal pay for equal work. There was a time when women were given less work, especially in labor class. All right. So in labor class, what used to happen? The men used to get more money and the women used to get less pay. So that also has been given, that people cannot do this. Right against economic exploitation, and nobody should be exploited. Right to work. The government should be responsible that everybody should get the work. But then if the person is not well qualified, or if the person does not want to work only, or if the person is not trying to be qualified enough to work, then what can the government do about it? Early childhood care and education to children below the age of 6 years. That is what the government is doing. If you see from the government side, this is all being given to the people. Now we will understand the difference between fundamental rights and directive principles of state policy. Okay, this is very important to understand because both of them are important for the citizens. Fundamental rights are justiciable. DPSP is not justiciable. This you must have understood by now. If our fundamental rights are being taken away from us, we can go to the court, but we cannot do the same with directive principles of state policy. Fundamental rights are compulsory. Each citizen has to have it, and each citizen can fight for it. But it is not the case with DPSP. Fundamental rights can prohibit the government from doing certain things, but the DPSP is an affirmative action or instruction to the government to do certain things. Okay. So fundamental right cannot, like right to religion, government cannot stop me from following any kind of religion I want. And DPSP is that I can tell the government to do this for me, that government has to arrange for water for me. So that is the work of the government. Fundamental rights are concerned with an individual. Each individual separately is concerned with fundamental rights, whereas DPSP are concerned with the whole country. So if there is a problem in fundamental rights, it is my problem. But if there is a problem with DPSP, then it is the whole country's problem. Fundamental rights aim to have political democracy, whereas DPSP aim to have economic democracy, that we are providing food, home, and means of income, all these kind of things in DPSP. So those were the fundamental rights and of the citizens and the difference between DPSP. Okay. Now the next important topic in our chapter, and one of the last topics in our chapter, is fundamental duties of citizens. So what are the fundamental duties of citizens? In 1976, the 42nd Amendment of Constitution was passed, and in this, the fundamental duties of citizens was given. Write it down somewhere. The 42nd Amendment was passed, and the 42nd Amendment included the fundamental duties of citizens. So 10 duties were enumerated. However, the Constitution does not enforce these duties. Citizens must abide by the Constitution, defend our country, promote harmony among all citizens, protect the environment. But it must be noted that our Constitution does not make the enjoyment of rights dependent or conditional upon fulfillment of duties. इसीलिए आप देखिए, rights के लिए तो सब लड़ लेते हैं, लेकिन अपनी duties पूरी करने के लिए कोई आगे नहीं आता. Because duties are not compulsory type of a thing. They are not enforced. अगर वो भी enforce हो जाए तो शायद लोग उसको follow करने लगे. Okay, लेकिन फिर भी आप अपने राष्ट्रगान के समय, national anthem के समय, you stand up. You when the flag is being hoisting, you stand up. When the in front of the national emblem, etc., you don't break them, and you take care of your environment. You take care of your nature, so of your own country. So all that becomes under national duty. So it is not enforced as such, but in case somebody is found doing all these things like burning the national flag or not standing during the national anthem, he could be punishable by law. Okay. So let us see what are the fundamental duties. Fundamental duties as the moral obligations to all citizens and help promote a spirit of patriotism and uphold the unity of India. Okay, love for your motherland. These duties set in Part 4A of the Constitution. They are held by the Supreme Court to be obligatory. We have to follow them. Okay? So duties are something which should become like a, it should become a moral this thing. हमारी value system में होना चाहिए कि हमें अपनी duty को पूरा करना है. Types of fundamental duties: to abide by the Constitution, respect its idol, the national flag and the national anthem, playing of the national anthem before and after a movie. Okay, that happens. Cherish and follow the noble ideas which inspired our national struggle. To defend the country and render national service when called upon. To promote harmony and spirit of brotherhood amongst all people, renounce practices derogatory to women. To value and preserve the rich heritage of our composite culture. ठीक है कि जाके अपनी जगहों को खराब ना करें, ruins को खराब ना करें. To uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity and integrity of India. ट्रिपल तलाक अभी कैंसिल हुआ, राम मंदिर के बारे में हुआ, ठीक है, शबरीमाला खोला गया for women. To protect, improve and have compassion towards natural environment including forests, lakes, rivers and wildlife. Tigris Avni, Ganga, Are, all these kind of movements are a move towards this. To develop scientific temper, humanism and the spirit of inquiry and reform, Mission to Mars, RTI. These are all ways where we are trying to develop scientifically. Safeguard public property, give up violence. Strive towards excellence in all spheres so that the nation constantly rises to higher levels of endeavor. Parent guardian to provide opportunities for education to the child between the age of 6 to 14 years. This is the most recent fundamental duty that has been added. So Parliament passed a Constitution Act in 1976 for the second amendment that inserted 10 duties, fundamental duties. These were the 10 duties. Later, 11th fundamental duty was added by the Constitution Act 2002, that is the 86th amendment. This is the 11th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 were there in 1976 Act, and in 2002 Act, this 11th duty was added as a fundamental duty. Difference between fundamental rights and fundamental duties. Fundamental rights applies to both citizens and foreigners. When citizens come and stay here, they also have the same rights, whereas duties apply to only citizens. Fundamental rights are justiciable in nature. They can be taken to court. Duties again are non-justiciable. They cannot be taken to court. Fundamental duties are legal sanction and direct enforcement, but Parliament can suspend it, and these are not warranted through proper legislation. Fundamental duties lack legal sanction and direct enforcement, but Parliament can enforce if it wants via proper legislation. Fundamental duties have impact on the government. Fundamental duties have impact on the citizens. Rights have impact on the government and duties have impact on citizens. Rights are what we want others to do for us. Duties are those acts that we should perform for others. ठीक है? So हमें freedom of speech मिलना चाहिए, हमें freedom of religion मिलना चाहिए, हम दूसरों से expect करते हैं. और हमें देश की रक्षा करनी चाहिए, हमें अपने मॉन्यूमेंट्स का ध्यान रखना चाहिए, हमें नेशनल एंथम को रिस्पेक्ट करना चाहिए, ये हम से एक्सपेक्ट किया जा सकता है. That is the difference between rights and duties. So this was your chapter on rights in the Indian Constitution, and according to the new syllabus which has just come to us from CBSE, this chapter is also a part of your chapter 1 now. Okay, Constitution of India. But there could be changes in syllabus as in how this quarantine goes on. Still, this is an important part of political science, and you all have to know your fundamental rights. This is not going anywhere from the syllabus. It is going to stay in your syllabus. So study it well, take down the notes and complete your work on time. Stay home, stay safe, and if you have any queries, kindly ask. Thank you.